Welcome back, everyone. My name's Michelle, and this is horror book Hell Hound. So today I want to update you guys on a couple of audiobooks actually that I have recently been listening to that are about demons and demonology. So for those of you who remember in the introduction video for this channel, I did kind of reference the fact that I do want to start getting back into learning more about demonology. No, I don't call myself a demonologist, although I recently did take a demonology course online, so I'm certified now. But I will cover that in an upcoming video. So there are two books that I want to cover in today's short little video that I feel are somewhat noteworthy. Now, I listened to both of these books on Audible, so if you have Audible, if you're interested in them, I do recommend the audiobooks because it was easy for me to kind of listen and follow along on the long commute to work or what have you. So there's that, or you can obviously get the hard copy so you can take notes and whatnot. So let's get started. The first book that I want to discuss with you guys is Demonic Foes by Richard Gallagher. Now, I believe Richard Gallagher is actually a PhD. To my understanding, he's actually a psychiatrist or a psychologist who does have a doctorate. He's had many years within the mental health field practicing. And this book is written from his perspective, right? So I was very intrigued by the thought of, just kind of reading from a perspective that is very entrenched in mental health and psychological terms when viewing demons and demonic possession and things like that. So that was very intriguing to me, and I did enjoy the conversation, the discussion pieces that kind of gave the reader a little bit of a better insight into like some of the common differences between demonic possession versus, common mental health conditions that are sometimes used interchangeably. For instance, back in the day, a lot of people used to think that people who were schizophrenic or going through a manic episode or, little things like that were demonically possessed. And that obviously was found out later on to not be the case at all. So there were things I liked about Richard Gallagher's book, but then there were some times, at least with the audiobook, that I just felt like he got very self-righteous and a little bit on the preachy side. And that tends to happen a lot with, demonology books that are written from a staunchly Christian and oftentimes Catholic perspective. The main issue I had with this book was simply the fact that it just seemed like Dr. Gallagher got a little preachy at times. He made it very clear at the beginning of the book that he did follow the Christian faith, and he did work pretty closely with priests and other spiritual people who, worked within the field as exorcists, right? So he did kind of fall down that same path of getting a little bit on the bandwagon of, oh, if you're a pagan or if you dabble in the occult at all, then you are obviously opening yourself up to demonic possession. And I beg to differ on that. We're not going to have a whole religious debate here on my channel. Suffice it to say, I am not Christian. I'm not Catholic. I do find Christianity very fascinating. I find Catholicism very interesting. But overall, this book was interesting. I do feel like if you are taking a very serious deep dive into the field of demonology, this would be a good one to read just to kind of get another perspective. But I mean, for those of us who are not Christian, it does get very old having to go through all of these demonology books that are solely from a Christian perspective. And they tend to drag pagans and occultists through the mud and just make it seem like, anyone who follows a path that is not Christianity brings it upon themselves to become possessed by a demon. And that just kind of irks me. The next book I want to talk to you guys about is called Sister of Darkness. And this is by R.H. Stavis, I hope I'm saying that right, and Sarah Durand. So I'll try to put pictures of the book covers up so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and I will list them down below as well. And again, I was listening to this on Audible on the very long commutes that I have to and from work. This book was absolutely fascinating. It captured my attention from the jump because it's written from a non-Christian perspective. That was entirely refreshing. But the way this book is written out and the way like the descriptions of demons are detailed in this book are really interesting. And I always love reading about demonology from a non-Christian perspective, just because it does kind of give the rest of us some hope that, you know, if some shit like that were to ever happen to us, we don't have to necessarily track down a Catholic priest who's just going to tell us that we need to become Catholic in order to be helped by the church. So yeah, this perspective of the author is very fresh. I can't remember a lot of the book because I'll be honest, I listened to it a while ago. I've been meaning to talk about it with you guys for a while now, but it definitely made an impression. It was definitely just very interesting. And if you, like I said with the other one, if you're very interested in the field of demonology, I feel like this one would be good for you to read, even if, you know, you are Christian and you don't want to read it from a pagan perspective. I still feel like it would be good for you to read, for the simple fact that it is very important for all of us to understand, accept, and kind of acknowledge that some of these perspectives, even though we might not agree with them, do provide results. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative, but dang it if they don't provide results. I'm not going to go into heavy detail about every little thing that these books broke down, but suffice it to say that if you're interested in a more psychological approach to demonology and demonic possession, the first book, which is Demonic Foes, might be something that you would find very interesting. And on the other hand, if you are really wanting to find some literature that is written from a more, I won't say that the author is like very much a pagan per se, but if you're wanting to look at a fresh perspective that is outside of the realm of Christianity, then I feel like Sister of Darkness would be right up your alley. And again, as I've said many a time on this channel, well, maybe not on this channel, as I've said before, it is very important for all of us who deep dive into these darker topics to understand all of the perspectives that go into them. And just because we might not agree that, you know, like only Catholic priests can perform exorcisms and things like that, doesn't mean that we should not read books that are from their perspective, just because any kind of interaction with demons or what you believe to be demonic entities is kind of important and noteworthy if you're serious about this field. Whether or not you put stock in it is up to you. That is your decision. But it is very important for yourself to be able to open your mind enough to allow other perspectives to kind of enter the realm of your consciousness. I don't know why I'm talking all fancy today. Whatever. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give a shout out to these two books because I have read or listened to them recently, and I have been trying to get a little more active in the realm of demonology and studying the field a little more. So if you guys have read or listened to these books, what did you think of them? Have you guys or gals read any books recently about demonology or demonic possession that you think I should check out? If so, leave that down in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like that button, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, there will definitely be more demonology videos in the future. This is mainly a booktube channel, but when I read books about demonology, you guys will be the first to know. So with that being said, I will see you all in the next video. I hope y'all are all being safe and loving life out there in the world, and that's it. That's done. Peace out, Hell Hounds.